So speaking of which, so your playing career and you had a good time of it at Reading, and then you get to the end of the playing career and go, okay, what now? And this is where the title, I think, comes in for this particular book, because you end up working for a mob called SFX, big management company.
Yep.
A lot of footballers. Tony Stevens was the guy in England. He kind of got going with David Platt, one of England's finest football exports. You end up being the guy with David Beckham when he lands at Real Madrid. So you have gone from the park at Watson's Bay to the Iguana Bar to Reading to stopping to being with Tony Stevens and him going, Andy, you're going with Bex into this crazy, crazy world that even you couldn't imagine what was to come next. How? How does that all happen? And how, like I said, that's the title of the book, Riding Shotgun.
Yeah, like, we could be here for another 3-4 hours and I could tell you the whole book, but, kind of just in small little parts. Kind of I was a little lost after football, kind of not knowing where to go. A friend of mine, Susan Roberts, who was one of the big wigs at Foster's Courage at the time in the UK. And a few of the boys had always said, you could probably, work as an agent, this and that. You've done a few things. I helped Schwartzy get into England, Popovich get to Crystal Palace. And so I'd already kind of wheeled and dealed, but without actually doing it as a profession, just helping people out. And I kind of liked the idea of it. And Susan said, I'll get you a meeting with Tony Stevens in Mayfair. For those of you not aware of Mayfair, it's next to Park Lane, Monopoly, just...
the expensive, the blue stuff.
It's the swanky part of town.
Yeah.
So and she said, I'll get you 5 minutes with him. If you get more than 5 minutes with him, you'll have done well. So black cab arrives at Mayfair. I walk in the door and, the first three names you see are Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, David Beckham. So you're in good company. Yeah, it was very big at the time, very big. And an hour and a half later, I called Susan and I said, I'm still here. Tony's making me a coffee. So, I'd done all right. But so it was, she said to me on the way to London, she said, you'll get 5 minutes, so be prepared. And I prepared to be offered a job. I was that confident of it, and I knew that once I walked in those stairs, he wouldn't let me go, because I offered too much in terms of recruitment and, Spanish and Italian kind of connections and Portuguese connections, and the ability to kind of be comfortable in those countries and those situations and around those players. And that's what happened. And we began discussing. I began meeting with David a few times, with Dwight York at Pepsi events. That's kind of the first time the three of us met, Dwight York, David, Victoria. We were at a Pepsi marketing event and got on great with David and Victoria. And it kind of went from there. And he had mutual friends. We had mutual friends that we played with against, and all the feedback was positive. And before the actual transfer took part,
from Manchester United to Real Madrid.
Before that Manchester United to Real Madrid transfer, I was in Spain and Italy for a year, undercover, working on things
to try and find him a place.
Yeah, a year before the transfer took place, I was in Madrid with Valdano and Butragueño, and the bigger agents, your bosses won't tell you this or won't relay this to the world because they want all the credit. But a year before, I was at the Bernabeu and at the Nou Camp, and at the Bernabeu, I gave them three names to sign, and they were David Beckham, Michael Owen and Jonathan Woodgate, and all three signed for Real Madrid.
Yep. David Beckham was obviously the star attraction. He was the Galactico.
Yes, he was a Galactico. Jonathan Woodgate was a fantastic defender, but injury curtailed his career. And Owen, a fantastic striker, rapid. But with the Galacticos, with Real Madrid, they're looking for the extra pizzazz, the diamonds on top of the the Ronaldo Nazarios, the Messi type. That's what they're looking for.
I call them real Ronaldo.
Yes,
opposed to modern day Ronaldo. Not that the modern day Ronaldo is no good, but people who don't appreciate what this Brazilian Ronaldo did.
Have I got? I've got a book on that one.
Beauty. Hey,
so that's how it happened.
I won't go into what the Galacticos will. I'll just get people to say, go and watch the Real Madrid documentary Galacticos on ESPN. I think it's available on KAYO and all of that. Go and have a look at that, because that tells the story of what Florentino Perez, Mr. European Super League, wanted to make Real Madrid at the time, and he did it, but he essentially made it into more of a marketing football team rather than just a football team. And David Beckham was part of that. Not to downplay David Beckham's footballing ability, because he was an absolute weapon in himself, but it opened up another side of being a football star, and that's the stuff away from the pitch. How can you put into words what you saw away from the pitch in your time with Becks in Madrid?
I from day one, from the landing in Madrid, from being at the military Air Force base and his jet landing, the moment we left that military base, it's actually very, very hard to put into words the paparazzi world, the extent of what people will do and go to get photos, to get information on people, to blackmail people for information, to in effect want to destroy a human. It was quite fascinating. Dare I say, it was exciting at times. You know, you're in car chases, but it takes a toll on a human after a while. It's very moving, because it affects you for many years afterwards, and you know, being chased every day, being surrounded every day. They don't care about your life. You know, after the first day, I really had thoughts that I would die in a car crash with David Beckham. You know, not just kind of imagining it. I thought there will be a day we will die in a car crash, and you know, the chatter amongst paparazzi is of that. You know, they want the money shot, they want the blood shot, they want the kill shot. And you know, I ended up in a vehicle accident at.
You were a divergence, weren't you?
Yeah.
Dummy run.
Yeah. So, you know,
to put them off the trail.
Yeah, I'm wearing a blonde wig to look like David Beckham. You know, the insanity of it all. You know, I've got Posh Spice's sister next to me. You know, and we're the dummy run. You know, there's a Porsche coming out, bang, gets hit by paparazzi. Wake up, there's 50 people over the car flashing lights at you. Yeah. You know, and you're rescued by commandos. You know, and it's is that football?
No, it's a bit away from kicking a ball, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and you know what? I'm glad they don't have that now, and I don't think it was that much at Manchester United. But it was just, I suppose it was a special time in history for football, for Real Madrid, for Beckham, where he was married to Victoria, a Spice Girl. He at the time was the number one sports star on the planet. You know, a company that also had Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You know, all these factors came into it, and a nation and a club that, you know, the TV stations revolve around, you know, gossip channels and tabloids and this and that, and there's shows on every afternoon about David doing this and David doing that, and David with her and David not with her, and you know. I've never seen so much garbage go around in my life that generates millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's unbelievable.